What is up, Libra friends? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. Happy to have you guys out there with me today for another tarot reading. These are general messages, guys, for Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Do keep in mind, not everything I say will resonate with every Libra out there, so come in with realistic expectations, an open heart, an open mind. If something I say resonates with you, take it and run with it. If not, please release it, push it aside, assume it's going out to someone else who needs to hear it. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. All right, we're going to hop in. We're using Mermaid Tarot. It's new. It's a pretty cute deck. Well, I should say it's new to me. It's very, very fun. I love the images. So let's do it. Let's tap into some Libra energy and the most important messages I can give them. Here we go, Libra. So what's coming in for Libra? Possibly something with a Scorpio. You've recently ended some cycle in your life with the Death card coming in. It could quite literally be with a Scorpio, but it doesn't have to. And then there's a victory. So whatever that, if you are going through the ending of a cycle, it's a victory that comes in. You're off to the races. You're off and running. So this could even be like indicative of like seasonal energy or seasonal change is what I meant, right? Going from sort of Piscean end of the zodiac to Aries, which is like the birth, the spark, the initiator, the motivator. Something that maybe you were sitting and waiting on or just didn't feel inspired by, all of a sudden you're off to the races. Especially for anyone who's an artist or artistic or creative in any way. It's almost like if you were lacking inspiration for something, you found it. You're off to the races. I like that a lot. Yeah, you're off to the races with a lot of love in your heart. You got a lot to give the world. You have a beautiful cup from which you are nurturing both yourself and possibly others. Some of you may be thinking about motherhood or quite literally doing something with a mother or a female in your life. Some sort of team project or collaboration, especially among women, but it doesn't have to be. I never mean to offend, but just literally I'm hearing the idea of like a deadbeat ex. So some of you may have finally decided to cut ties with someone whoever, whatever they were. I don't need to know if they're a narcissist. That's fine. But ultimately, you decided to raise your vibe and you realize I'm worth so much more than this. And so you cutting ties with them, it's almost like you did a complete 180. If at one point in time, and it seems like at one point in time you did maybe sentimentalize them or give them the benefit of the doubt, cool, you're human. But I think you learned very quickly, oh, like I'm never going to get anything from this. It's like a one-way conversation. I'm giving to it, but I'm not getting anything in return, which ideally in a relationship, it's a 50-50 thing, right? So a lot of you, you're starting to realize that you are with someone who really, they weighed you down more than anything. And if it's not romantic, it could just be at a job where they're really not valuing your input. It was really weighing you down and just not serving you anymore on your spiritual path. You've outgrown it. You've shed the skin. You've transformed part of your life or possibly transformed pieces of yourself on the spiritual journey. It's not a bad message. It was absolutely very necessary, but sometimes, if we're going to call it a karmic relationship or whatever, you essentially met that person, you crossed paths with them to learn and gain something about yourself, to learn more value or self-respect. So anyway, let's not linger on that too long. But yeah, it wasn't always easy, but to me it's acknowledging we've come a long way though, haven't we? Like, look how fun she is. Like, she's living her best life there. I love it. She's headed into Queen of Cups energy. There's been a tremendous amount of spiritual growth and a recognition that you do deserve love. And that you do deserve to love yourself, because for some of you at one point in time, it seems like you were questioning it. So I'm hearing something about like punk rock music. I don't know what to do with that. Like almost like the Ramones, Sex Pistols. I don't know, punk, like Runaways, even like Joan Jett type stuff. So I don't know if that means something significant to some of you. I mean, maybe some of you were in a rock band, or maybe that was your ex, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just little confirmations. Something about punk rock, or I guess, we think of punk rock, it's very rebellious. It doesn't fall in line with the rules. It's sort of anti-authority and whatever, but it serves a purpose, right? It's not just, I'm a rebel for the sake of being edgy. It's like, I think you're rebelling against your tradition. Maybe that's what it is, in almost like a wink to you, Libra. It's like, oh, look at you being all punk rock. That's sort of what I get from this. But even the idea like punk rock, like it's awesome, it's cool, it's empowered, it's inspired, it's flourishing, I don't know what else to say, but it feels good, whatever it is. And then it leads to the Three of Pentacles. So this is about reaping the rewards. I'm hearing the word bounty. Finding that pot of treasure, at the bottom of the ocean. It took you a while to get there. And I would even argue this is really important and symbolic. This feels like a really good message. You had to sink very low in order to discover what was buried at the bottom of the ocean. Do you understand the metaphor there? You kind of had to go to those dark shadow side places to understand how much value was actually there. And then, a metaphor, of course, taking it up to the shore, right? Taking it to the shoreline and actually doing something with that newfound value, with that new newfound empowerment. This is cute. I really like this. Something with a water sign, particularly a Cancer or a Scorpio, may be of significance to you in the coming weeks or months, especially a collaboration. It could be romantic by all means. What else do I need to tell you about this, Libra? Embrace the new cycle. Don't fear. Don't fear the unknown. That was a very important message in Gemini's reading. So if that's significant to you, the sign of Gemini, if that's in your chart or your person, it was about being comfortable with not having all the answers, but going off of your intuition with, you know what, I have enough to move forward. I think there's a very important message of, there's a million reasons why I can talk myself out of it, but there's also a million reasons why I should, why I should not talk myself out of whatever this decision or this forward movement is. So again, Libra, my scales, you can talk yourself into a corner, you can be very indecisive, and I don't mean to slap you with that, stereotype over and over, but essentially it's like you got to invest in one way or the other. And so I think a lot of you are choosing to be more optimistic, but with that, it's choosing to be comfortable in a sense of being uncomfortable, choosing to be comfortable in uncomfortability, or really in the unknown, of having faith in the universe that information will get relayed to you, but by you taking a step forward, it shows the universe that you're in it. Yeah, I see you not romanticizing the past anymore. If you were a person who used to do that, especially your relationships, it's literally like cocoon to the butterfly. She's grown her little wings. She's higher. She soars higher than the rest now. She has a different viewpoint, right? If she's floating in the clouds, again, metaphors, symbols, all that good stuff. You're not romanticizing it. You're not kind of, that girl hoping the boy calls her, or whatever gender, same-sex couples included, but it just doesn't serve you. It felt like you were putting your life on pause for someone else, and now it's like you see a way out, and it's almost like in a healthy way, you're addicted to the feeling of doing good things for yourself. I'm not getting anything else from this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what else is telling me. That's the message. I see a lot of you working on pieces of art, sculpting, clay, pottery, sewing, any sort of artsy craftsy thing. Even if you are not an artist, there may be some opportunity where you get invited to come to paint night with the girls or with the guys, or again, music, expressing yourself in lyrics, poetry, songs, something like that. Even if you don't fancy yourself an artist or a creative, though I would argue, of course you are, you're ruled by planet Venus. Maybe you just haven't tapped into it. There's some opportunity where it's just simply a means of expressing yourself through your art. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to make it your career, though I would argue some of you absolutely could. Some of you, it could be quite lucrative. Others of you, you're just doing it for the simple pleasure and joy of creating a piece of art. And it's whatever it is that you're doing, it's representative of what's inside of you, and something about it speaks about your transition and your change. Some of you are going to be storyboarding, I heard, but I'm almost and it might be literally that if you're working on films or something or comic books. But for most of you, I think that has to do with vision mapping, like vision boarding. That's what I meant to say. So planning out your future and understanding it, if you can visualize it, if you can taste it, if you can, imagine yourself there, it's going to be a lot easier to manifest, because essentially you're showing the universe, I see myself here. I acknowledge that I am capable of it, that I deserve it. Vision boards are going to be huge. And some of you may have already done that in Pisces season. Well, Aries season is off to the races, the kickstart. What are your hopes and dreams and wishes, Libra? And what are you doing to move towards them? Even baby steps. What are you doing to incite or initiate that action towards actually achieving them? Again, the universe will help, but they're not going to do all the work for you. So make sure you're taking the proper steps to achieve whatever it is you want in life, whether it's romantic or, I don't know, anything. Jobs, family stuff, personal growth. Some of you may have an opportunity to model or pose for something. I feel like I get this for you in Virgo all the time. And I don't know anybody in my life who the story fits. So maybe that's all the more good to express it because it's completely unbiased. But something about modeling opportunities or putting your face on a poster or on a book. You may be asked to, almost like in a marketing campaign, can we use your face? Can we use your hands? Can we use your, I don't know. You may have to provide your own wardrobe. It may be something low budget, but yeah, it may, especially with a Capricorn, it may be some sort of connection that could serve you in the future. Okay, some of you feel like you got taken advantage of because you offered your services, and maybe you went without pay, maybe not, but you found out that the person had suspicious, what's a good word for it, intentions, motives. A lot of you feel like you got coerced or coaxed in, is that right? Coerced into doing something like, almost like nudity. Like it may have started off as a fashion spread, but then they're like, oh, well, could you, take the top off? And some of you are like, this doesn't feel right, but I'm going to do it. I think a lot of you are looking back and regretting it, and that's not the message. The message here is you don't need to beat yourself up about it. The mere fact that you're able to look back on this and understand, in a sense, not allowing yourself to take on the role as victim, but understanding that you did what was right because you thought you were serving someone, but you've learned your lesson that you do need to be more protective of your energy. So there's something about you may have sort of a trigger of the past, and it doesn't have to be that exact example, but feeling like someone was very, I don't know if manipulative is the right word. It's really not that, because I think you, I'm trying to be gentle because this could be a very sensitive topic. I do acknowledge that. I think you more or less agreed to it, or even if you didn't want to, you were like, I think in a selfless way, you were trying to be like, okay, well, maybe I'm being too sensitive. Like you tried to justify it where you were helping someone, and never in your mind did it cross that maybe this person didn't have good intentions until after. And so I think you're starting to realize that. I think you're starting to realize separating yourself from partnerships that just morally are going against what you stand for, but also there was just like a shadow side to it, and you've changed. You recognize it now. So I think that's really what this message is ultimately saying. But I guess there's also a message here, like, what's in it for you? Especially in business. I feel like this was like, especially for, again, artists or actors or models or whatever, something in a more creative field, you may have been persuasion. Someone here has the gift of persuasion, and you, unfortunately, were on the other end of that, and I think you look back and regret, and again, you don't need to. As long as you walk away and implement the lessons moving forward, it actually did serve you, and it doesn't feel like that, but the universe has a bigger plan, and it's really hard to justify that plan, right? Because you're not in on all of it. Some of you are going, well, now they have, nudie pictures of me, and I feel really weird about it, and it's like, all right, well, just pretend for a second that was all divinely guided and it was meant to happen. It's about what you do with it. It's about what you make of it. And yeah, some of you, it's like you feel like your public reputation is on the line. And again, that's entirely up to you if you allow yourself to be controlled by media response. If you take to heart other people's perception of you and other people creating this feels very like Hollywood starlet vibes. Like, well, my reputation is tarnished because these pictures surfaced of me and blah, blah, blah. I understand that's not for all of you, but I think this is saying the metaphor of what I'm talking about, that you may relate to this, especially in a career field. Like, you may have misstep or misspoke in some way, and now you feel like it's being memorialized and there's no escaping it. That's not true. You are allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to grow and thrive, and you are always allowed to have an opinion on it, to have a word, to engage in that discussion, and rightfully so, especially if it involves you. I would say there's a healthy balance of haters gonna hate. You're never going to be able to please everyone. But when it comes to your job and your livelihood, of course you have the final say. Nobody else does. It's you. I think having that power scares you a little bit because it's not something you're used to. This is going to be life-changing for you. You have the power now of everything. You have control. And with that, there by default will be it doesn't have to be a scary step, but essentially a new transformation of your crowd of people, who you hang out with, what kind of energies and vibes and people that you choose to entertain and blend with. It just doesn't fit. Your old group, your old gang, your old coworkers, they're just not on the same vibe as you. And I'm not saying you have to get new friends. I'm saying that there will be like a physical reaction when you hang out with those old people where you're just like, ugh, this doesn't feel right. It's because you've raised your vibe. They're not on the same frequency as you. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel apologetic. You don't have to say a thing. You can just decline the invite next time they ask you out for drinks, right? It's like bottom feeders, energy suckers, people who are trying to bring you down. You don't need them. You have no use for them anymore. Because no one's going to bring you down. Like, you're invincible. You have a good defense mechanism of your energy now. And so I want to restate, the only way you were able to learn that, Libra, is by engaging with someone who did at one point bring you down. Someone who had great influence and, again, persuasion on you and how you treated yourself. This was all for something. And again, rather than look back and be ashamed or feel defeated or even the opposite, spiteful, jealous, whatever it is, that how could that have happened to me? I understand this is a bitter pill to swallow, and I do come at this with empathy, but there's value in being grateful that it happened so that you could put a final stop to it and then it didn't happen anymore. I hope that makes sense. You do have some tricky energy, I'm not going to lie. And I don't necessarily even think it's coming in. I think it's a trigger that is reminding you of something that went back to the past. Quite literally something that resurfaces, and it may be online. And again, I don't say that to scare you. You don't need to fear this, right? This is in poor taste, and I'm only saying it because I want to lighten the mood a little bit and get you to understand this is all about your perspective. So some of you are like, oh my God, well, what if that person posts that picture and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, at least I look good. It's like you don't need to apologize for it. What happened wasn't okay, but it is about owning it. And I don't think you owe anybody an apology. Maybe yourself for being too harsh or too critical. But yeah, it's like trying to win the people over and conceal or hide errors or mistakes in your past. It's the wrong approach. It's the opposite. It's like, let it all out, because you know what? I'm accountable. Yeah, I did that. Do I regret it? Yeah, but you know what? That's really none of your business. It's my path. And you can justify why it happened, and that's all that matters. You don't need to constantly be catering and pleasing other people. All right. Something about that may involve a water sign, a Capricorn, I don't know. Or just your public image, your career, your job. Some of you feel like you were misquoted or misrepresented in an article or something media related, or something where word was spread. Something you may even be getting into arguments online and in comments, like people trolling what you're posting or doing this. And raise your vibe. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I mean, you have free will. You can choose to do whatever you want, but you approach things now with compassion and empathy because you had to offer that to yourself. So rather than, again, sinking down into the shadow side and fighting fire with fire, fighting a critic with more criticism and, name calling and bullying, you're so above that. It's like, you don't have time for it, but it's almost like you take it as an opportunity to be grateful to the universe for showing you just how far you've come, because now you can spot this motherfucker a mile away. Like, you choose to not engage because it's like, I can smell you before you even come in the room. Like, that's how foul that energy is to you, because you know it. You've been there. You've lived this. You've seen it. You've been amongst this group, and now you're just like, no. Like, I sense your vibe. You truly are an empath, right? If this is making sense to you, you feel that vibe. You feel that vibration of other people around you. Some of you may literally see colors, so like auras or something like that. Interesting. All right, let's switch topics. In fact, I'm going to switch decks because I've been holding this deck the whole time I've been talking about this. So just I want to mix up. Let's get Libra one new message. What deck do I want to use? Sure, why not? We'll use this deck. Movie Tarot. The readings are a little bit heavy this time around, but I like it. I think they're more profound, So let's finish it off with something new. Let's tap into new energies, a new message for Libra. Whatever universe wants to throw at me. Maybe something with love. I hear some of you guys are saying love. What can we tell Libra about love? The King of Cups. Universe is like, yes, we can talk about love. What is this person thinking? Possibly a male water sign, doesn't have to be. What are they thinking about? They were thinking about the King of Wands. All right, so do you know where my mind immediately went? Obviously, this will resonate for same-sex couples out there, but part of me thinks that some of you may realize that your person is interested in both sexes. That was honestly the first message that came out. If that's not the case, and it won't be for everyone, this person may just be thinking about their career. They may be very involved in their career, in which case you may feel like you're not getting what you need from them. So again, that might be a sign. Maybe it's time to detach and disconnect because there isn't a mutual, are we in this or not, right? Or it's just coming to the idea, I need to respect work time versus personal time. And some of you may be wishing for more of personal time with this person. And right now they have a lot of ambition. This could be your Capricorn. Yeah, there may be a Capricorn that you're wanting to build with, or vice versa, wanting to build with you, but someone's really, their main priority right now is building the empire. Especially someone who's a doctor or someone who works in a medical field or something like I'm hearing the word authority. So like, I don't know, police, police enforcement, even like firefighters. They have a very important job. There's a lot resting on them. There's a lot of pressure in this job. They're exhausted. They're feeling overwhelmed. So I will say, it's not to say they're not interested in you, but like the last thing they need right now is girl drama or boyfriend drama or whatever. Like they have their hands full. So if you can be patient and you can, give this a little time and space, let's see what's the deal there. Two of Cups. Yeah. This is has a lot of masculine energy, so double down if you are a male Libra or a male whoever, Libra moon, sun, rising, watching for another male. Your person might not be willing to commit to one at this point. They may be sort of playing the field. And here's the thing. I don't even sense that it's terribly unhealthy. It's just they're not looking for the one and only person yet. They're kind of seeing what's out there. So as long as they're being honest and open with you about that, if you're looking to get a firm commitment out of them, I don't see that happening immediately, but I think they're open to discussion. I think they're... In theory, I think this person is open to being very honest and blunt with you, but that doesn't mean they're going to sugarcoat it and tell you what you want to hear, which I actually really like. This seems like a person of their word. This person does like you. They do sense that there's passion there, but I'm almost getting something about it is bittersweet because I feel like you guys may have met at a time where it was tricky. You guys got thrown or saddled with a lot of challenges because of external factors like career or family commitments or, just those things that happen in life. They kind of arise out of nowhere. And so what is the ultimate ending here? I do think there's passion. I do think there's, or maybe it's not passion. Maybe you guys aren't in that deep because it feels kind of new-ish. Four of Swords. Yeah, this goes through a period of rest or stagnation. What would this person tell Libra? If any of this is familiar, what would this person tell Libra? Or what are they trying to tell Libra that, bear with me guys, perhaps Libra isn't wanting to hear or maybe struggling to really understand? Is there anything? And I could, we'll see. Maybe this will be very positive. I'm trying to get a grasp because the thing is you have very good, very mature in terms of someone's energy cards, but I do sense that there's a little bit of like break it to them gently. That's sort of what I get. And I think this person is trying to be honest with you, but they also don't want to disappoint you. I don't know. Help me out here, Spirit. What does Libra need to know about this? I'm open to the universe kind of jumping in here and helping. Let's see. I'm becoming a better person. All right, so this person is in transition, right? 10 things I hate about you. I feel like that's symbolic. This is not perfect. There's something maybe, I would even say equally, there's little factors of irritation. Even if it's not each other, external things, it's irritating and it's not easy. It's not totally comfortable and established yet. Again, it has the potential. We have to remember Knight of Wands is... in a low vibe, the player, but in a high vibe, someone who's just curious. They need to see what's out there to satisfy that craving, those yearnings. So allow them to do that, knowing that when they see what's out there, if they come back to you, it's because they really want to. Versus denying them the freedom and the opportunity to see what's out there, they're always going to be left wondering. And I would say that's when that lower vibing Knight of Wands may become a player, right? Or, that kind of thing. They do end up together, though, don't they? 10 things I hate about you. He buys her a guitar, bada bing, bada boom. Did I say something about musicians earlier? I feel like, yeah, that was the punk rock thing. That's interesting. That's going to mean something to you later. Some of you may have a Scorpio musician coming in, male or female. I replay our conversations over and over. So that says to me they're trying to understand how to fix this or make it better. And then I bury myself in work to forget you. Interesting. So I don't know if this has gone through a breakup. Maybe some of you are already kind of in the midst of this. What is the bottom? I wish I could share my good news with you. Yeah, that's what I mean. I do think this person likes you. I think there's a warmth that you guys feed off of each other. This feels like someone had to be the bearer of bad news, though. That like, I need a break. I can't do this. Just purely off of this card, right? What do you feel when you look at these? Is this reconciliation? Is this, hey, I have to talk? Or, it just seems like someone is trying to be mature in expressing the truth, but it's hard because there is love there. I think there's potential for this to come back around, but I would not bank on it immediately. I would try and disconnect from this energy, knowing that if it is meant to be yours, it will come back around again. But do you see how this person, they're in the midst of transition. They don't know exactly what they want, which is exactly where the Knight of Wands is at. They have huge potential to be a king, right? I would even argue, though, they may still be stuck on an ex who was a king to them, right? You both may be putting the other on a pedestal. And so maybe if you both kind of go through your own spiritual growth individually, this can come back together and be even stronger, right? I never condone putting your life on pause for anyone, but also I don't want to be a buzzkill. There's a lot of couples who, trial separations and absence makes the heart grow fonder. Or there's trial separations and then someone meets someone else and they're like, oh my God, you're way better than I was settling for, right? On either side. So anyway, This has hope, but again, I'm not holding my breath on it. I would really strongly encourage you to take the messages as they are, right? If this feels like it's your message, understand, okay, the universe isn't saying no, but they're saying not now. I really do think the universe is like, I'm going to reveal more about this later, so don't worry about it now. Do not obsess about this. Keep building. Keep building on your own life. All right, I'm going to leave you with that, Libra. Please remember to like and share and subscribe. I will see you next Thursday for more tarot. Bye, Libra.